Hi there, this is Tafakari Initiative and welcome to our channel. If you're new to us, Tafakari Initiative is a Kenyan NGO that supports the integration of technology into education, and we do this through a variety of means such as the video that you're currently watching. We hope that you've had a good time with us even as we explore various topics in technology for education, and so today we are covering something a bit new. We realized that we've been covering a lot of online material, how to get content for learners, and also how as a teacher you can be able to find the resources to improve your skills for online work and dissemination of information to students through online means. But we also realized that there's something that ties these two quests together, and these two quests are tied together by hardware. Hardware ranges all the way from mainframe computers, which are run by institutions, to handhelds such as tablets and mobile phones. But today we'll be looking at something that straddles the middle ground. So today we'll be looking at personal computers. I will be looking at how to select a PC, and to do that there are various factors that one needs to consider. So that's what we'll be looking at today, and we hope that by the time we will be done with this video, you'll have learned quite a bit and you'll be in good stead to choose a PC for yourself with ease. So what do we look at a remote computer? First thing to consider is what is it going to be used for? Someone who just wants to type documents doesn't need a very powerful machine. But if you're looking to do complex applications such as data analysis, so you may want to edit videos and sound, you're going to need something that's a lot more powerful than a computer used for typing documents and sending emails. So what you're going to use the machine for is a very important factor. Secondly, you need to think about things like portability. You may want to use your machine in the office, and then again use it at home perhaps to watch movies, or maybe someone at home would want to access the internet. So something that you can be able to at least move around with. You may have the kind of job that makes you move around a lot. So to do that with ease, you would want something that's portable, and that's probably going to be a laptop. If we talk about a situation where perhaps you've got limited budget to set up a computer lab or buy computers, you may want to start with something basic, and then over time as more funds become available, you begin to swap out components to increase the computer's capacity to do whatever work you have in mind. So when you're talking about flexibility, which is the ability to upgrade the machine with ease, that also affects the kind of computer that you buy. So you may end up buying a desktop because desktop computers are very easy to upgrade, as opposed to laptops where swapping out some components is very, very difficult. For example, you can swap out RAM in a laptop as well as in a desktop, but swapping processors, optical drives, graphic cards can be slightly more challenging when you're talking about a laptop. So as far as flexibility is concerned, it may be a good idea to go with a desktop. So let's look at the characteristics of a personal computer that we evaluate when you're choosing a machine. First thing you need to look at is something called the processor. So for those who may not be very familiar with what a processor is, the processor is the part of the computer that actually does the operations that enable data to be crunched, so to speak. Processors come from different manufacturers, and they come in different models. So I'll briefly go into one of the more popular companies, which is Intel. So Intel has different types of processors. They've got Core i3, Core i5 and Core i7 in increasing complexity. A machine with a Core i3 processor will run programs with ease. You can even type up documents and emails and do some basic work on it. But once you start talking about editing videos, doing multimedia applications, doing statistics and data, then if you want a machine that can do that efficiently and with ease, you're going to have to look at a processor like a Core i5 or a Core i7. What these numbers refer to is basically the way the chip is built and the number of processors that are integrated into a chipset. It's actually something that is fairly easy to understand, and we'll attach a guide to this in the description section for this video. So apart from that, we also have two types of memory to evaluate as well. We've got random access memory, also known as RAM. If I were to use an analogy of the human brain, RAM is the ability to process information very, very, very quickly. In a sense, someone asks you a question, what is 5 by 2? You tell them 10 even before they're even done with the number 2. RAM comes in different sizes. There's 4GB, 8GB, 16GB, and 32GB. That's the range for PCs. But once you get to 64GB, 128GB, you're working into more complex machines, known as servers. And if you have a very fast processor like a Core i7, but your RAM is limited to something like 4GB, your machine's ability to process information will also be limited to 4. It's important that you're going to have a fast processor. It's also important that you get enough RAM to allow you to take advantage of the fast processing capacity that that chip offers. So if you're looking at a Core i3, you can get away with 4GB, 8GB with ease. But once you go into Core i5, Core i7, you probably would want to think about starting with a minimum 8GB. The other type of storage to consider is the hard disk. So the hard disk, working by my analogy, where the processor is the ability to think about very complex issues and the RAM to think about issues quickly. The hard disk is the ability to store large amounts of information and also for a long time. It's long-term storage as well. So there are different types of hard disks. We've got SATA hard disks and also newer versions called solid-state drives, SSDs. So these SSDs do not have moving components, unlike the SATA drives. And what happens is that with an SSD, you will find that accessing information is very, very quick. But the flip side to that is that they're quite expensive and don't have very large storage. So you may want to buy a SATA drive, especially depending on the kind of project that you want to run. If you are assembling a machine that don't have very complex tasks, you don't need an SSD. But if you need something that does a lot of work, a high-end machine, then a solid-state drive is probably something you may want to consider. Right. So that's about her specifications, hardware specifications. So one of the factor for a personal computer to evaluate is the operating system you have in mind. Typically speaking, most applications that a school would use run on the Windows operating system from Microsoft, and the latest is Windows 10. So you may be able to find machines that have the previous version of the OS, either Windows 8 or Windows 7. But support for Windows 7 has also stopped. So it may be ideal to get a machine that has a new operating system, something like Windows 10. If you perhaps may not have the ability to buy the operating system, or you'd want to use something different, you've got Linux. So Linux is what we call open source software. It's an operating system whose components are available for evaluation and for change by public, whereas software such as Windows is actually proprietary, which means it's owned by a company and cannot be available to you for you to make changes that you think can be of help to you. Generally speaking, if you're an educator, you're going to find machines that have Windows or Linux because they also have the widest variety of software written for them. Finally, we also need to think about peripheral devices. Peripherals refers to input-output devices. These devices that allow you to input data and also allow you to get output, whatever has been processed from the PC. So peripherals would be looking at something like a monitor, something like a keyboard, also looking at something like optical drives, your DVD-ROM, and also your printer. If you're in a place where you need to get information off of DVDs or even write CDs, then it may be useful to get, for example, a laptop that actually has a DVD-ROM. One other thing to think about when you're buying your PC is also the issue of cost. Cost is an important consideration because you may find that you may not necessarily be able to get a top-of-the-range machine. So this might influence your choice to either go for a brand new machine or go for a refurb. And refurbs are very available in Kenya. You can actually find them in different shops. Most of the places you see people talking about XUK, those are typically refurbished machines, and they may come with a shorter warranty period than the machine that you'd buy brand new. But they're also very, very good. It can allow you to even buy a machine with higher specs for a lower price. So it's a trade-off you may want to think about and take that into account even as you seek to buy machines for either for yourself or for your facility. Finally, you may want to also find out what kind of after-sales service is offered by the seller. You may want to work ideally with someone who will give you a warranty for the machine and will be able to change parts out for you if there's an issue, as opposed to someone who will just sell you the machine and tell you you're on your own. I'm hoping this video has been informative. So thank you for sticking with us. We're wishing you a lovely, lovely time, and as always, happy learning.